Hi, everybody. Because I am not super tech savvy, I created an actual hands-on poster to share about my strategy that I would be using for math. And the strategy that I chose is CRA, which stands for concrete, representational, and abstract. So it's a three-stage approach that kind of moves students from hands-on learning to more abstract thinking. Um, and I used this as an example for teaching multiplication with my fourth graders, which was something I worked on a lot this past school year. And for my example, we're going to use the problem 12 times 3. So we move through each of these stages with 12 times 3 because it provides scaffolding for the students so they can kind of see, what works best for them in their minds. And the first stage is concrete or hands-on. So the students will use manipulatives to model the problem. So an example that I used is they could use base 10 blocks and they would build 3 groups of 12 to kind of, use their hands and be able to see what 3 groups of 12 actually looks like. The stage 2 we would move into is representational or pictorial. So students are able to draw diagrams or draw pictures that would represent their program, or their problem, So with the problem 12 times 3, my example, I had them draw sticks and cubes, so base 10, and they drew 2 sticks, 2 cubes, 2 sticks, 2 cubes, 2 sticks, 2 cubes to represent tens and ones. So you can also see that as 3 groups of 12. And kind of connect it back to that previous stage about, we built it and now we drew it. Then moving into the third stage, which is abstract or symbolic, the students will use numbers and symbols only to represent the problem. So writing 12 times 3 equals 36 using all numbers and symbols, or maybe they're doing partial products like 10 times 3 plus 2 times 3 equals 30 plus 6, which also equals 36. And again, you connect that back to the previous stages, talking about how we built it and then we drew it, and now this is how we write these all out. So why is CRA a good strategy to try? It provides multiple representations of each problem, so you kind of help to reach some of those learners that learn differently. It helps increase confidence. It allows for the students to visualize what they're working on. And it kind of breaks everything into more manageable sequential steps for our students. So hopefully this is something you could try in your classroom.